Welcome back to Chicago Couch Scouts. Football is upon us, and that also means that one of our favorite things is upon us, fantasy football. That's what today's episode is going to be about. We're going to go through the first 3 rounds of each pick and give our opinions on the best strategy of how to pick. So if you haven't done your drafts yet, this will be a little draft guide for you guys. So with the 1-1, personally, I think we're both on the same page. I think that there is one player that this could be, and that's Ja'Marr Chase. I think the Bengals offense is going to obviously put up huge numbers again. I think you can't go wrong taking a Bengal this year, whether it be Chase Brown, T. Higgins, or Ja'Marr Chase. So I think Ja'Marr Chase is the easy one.
Yeah, I think one of the running backs could finish as the number one player overall, but I think the upside's just too crazy with Chase. Like, you see the lines on the screen, like Saquon's at 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns. Bijan's at like 1,350 with 11 touchdowns. Like, those are like close to the ceiling, I feel like, with their lines, whereas Chase is at like just below 1,500, where I feel like, I mean, he had 1,700 last year and like 17 touchdowns, quietly won the Triple Crowns. I think the upside's crazy with Chase. Bengals defense is terrible, so they're gonna be throwing a lot. I think him and T. Higgins are both like really good targets in fantasy, as well as
Yes,
Burrow.
a lot of shootouts potentially. Player of the year potential for Chase definitely has the highest ceiling, in my opinion, of any player you can pick. Going with Chase there at the 1-1.
Yeah,
One,
and it's
two,
like the injury risk is different too than like a
yeah,
Saquon. Bijan hasn't really been hurt, but you just never know with the running back. So
yeah. So 1-2 here. This is where we're gonna start getting into the running backs. Definitely a lot of varying options here. It's kind of pick your poison. I think it comes down to Saquon, Bijan, or Gibbs. Personally, I would probably lean Bijan. I think especially when Penix came into play last year, Bijan was one of, if not the best fantasy players for the last 8 weeks last year, constantly putting up 25 plus points. I think he is bound for an explosion type year.
yeah, I think it's between Bijan and Gibbs as well. Saquon has to be in the mix because if he's healthy, he's gonna get the volume. But like, he does have competition for touchdowns there. Didn't really matter last year with the 2,000 yards and everything, but it is a factor. And as he gets older, they might lean on Hurts or the RB2 and 3 more, like how the Eagles kind of used to play. So yeah, I think Bijan or Gibbs here if you're gonna go with the running back. I think CeeDee Lamb also in play. Like, I'm taking him over Jefferson for sure now. With
With
the
the
new
Micah
Micah Parsons
Parsons.
trade, like, it's similar thinking as with the Bengals. Like, Dallas's defense is already not good with Micah Parsons, and now they just trade away a top 2 defender in the sport. That defense is in rough shapes.
Yeah.
Dak might go for 5K and CD might go for 1,700 on a 5-12 fucking Cowboys team. So
Yeah.
I think he's also in play now at this point, but I'd go Bijan as well.
I think the one thing with Bijan is Caleb McGarry did go down this week with an injury that will put him out for the rest of the year. So the allure of like Saquon and Gibbs is how good their O-lines are. Obviously Gibbs lost Ragnow, and Saquon's is healthy and probably the best O-line in the league. So I do think Bijan's ceiling is higher just based off pass catching ability and like big play. Like him and Gibbs are in that same vein. I do think we're gonna go Bijan here at the 1-2, and then going to the 1-3. I think it's just gonna be whoever doesn't go 1-2. It's gonna be between Gibbs and Saquon. Obviously, Gibbs being the younger back, Saquon has had injury history in the past, and who knows? He could reproduce that insane season he had last year, but who knows? Like you said, we'll be competing for touchdowns, but I really do think this is the year where Gibbs finally like leaves Montgomery in the dust and becomes the number one running back. So I would lean Gibbs here at the 1.
Yeah, I think it comes down to Gibbs and CD here, like I was kind of saying at 1-2. I would personally probably lean CD just because I'm lower on the Lions, and there is Montgomery as well. And a lot of like the crazy Gibbs production came when Montgomery was out. He was still like an RB1 quality guy with Montgomery, but it's a little weird how they kind of monitored his carries there. So yeah, I'd personally lean CD, but I think Gibbs is in play as well. So if you were like firm on Gibbs, I'm fine with that. But personally, I think I'd go CD here if I was picking.
I think I'm gonna go Gibbs just for the experiment we're doing here, but 1-4, I am, like you said, with the news of Micah Parsons obviously getting traded to the Packers here for 2 firsts and Kenny Clark. I am okay taking CD here if
Yeah, I think this is should be the consensus top 4, like what I would do kind of thing.
yeah.
I just think there's more questions with Jefferson and Saquon than these guys. Like,
Yeah.
I think Gibbs has some questions compared to the other 3, but I think he also has maybe the most upside. Well, maybe not to Chase, but I think Gibbs could end up finishing higher than CD and Bijan if everything goes right.
Yeah.
But
I could see that as well.
But yeah, I think CD with this new trade should be in the top 4 for sure.
Yeah, they're just gonna be throwing the fuck out of the ball. But yeah, like you said, like Jefferson already having injury problems. Obviously, you have a rookie quarterback who a lot of people have questions about. But Justin Jefferson, I think he's kind of QB immune in some ways. Like he's gonna be open. He has a great offensive scheme, but I do
Yeah.
think he's gonna fall to 6 most likely in this mock. I think Saquon is the best player on the board, and you go with him at 5.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a tough one for me. I'm not sure who I would really take with this one, but I'm totally fine with Saquon going. I agree about Jefferson. It's just I don't know what the upside's gonna be with a rookie kind of quarterback, and they're
Yeah,
gonna be running the ball a lot. So
makes
yeah, I
sense.
think Jefferson is the clear pick at 6 here, and there's
Yeah,
not really much discussion. Like I don't
yeah.
think anybody would pass on him. Maybe for a Malik Neighbors if someone was really bought in on him, but I think in most leagues you're just gonna see someone take Jefferson
Yeah, I
and
agree.
just run to the podium.
This is like the consensus 6. Like after here, I feel like there's a slight drop off in terms of like first round pick quality. Like
Yeah.
according to Sleeper, like Puka's the next best player on the board. Like
So like
great
how do you want to
player.
go about this from here? Because like I feel like the top 6 was a consensus and we just kind of went with
Yeah.
what we felt. But with here, do you think we should like maybe go for more like what we like as a collective or what we think like would happen in someone's draft?
I think let's go with what we like as a
All right.
collective here.
All right. I mean, me at 7 then like I'm
I
looking
think
at different guys than the sleeper
yeah,
rankings. Like I like Puka, but I think I prefer Neighbors, Collins, and
yeah,
St. Brown to him. And I think Christian McCaffrey as well. Like the upside's
yeah,
kind of crazy if he's able to stay healthy, which is a huge question.
yeah.
But
In my head, I'm between Nico and McCaffrey. Like obviously, like you said, like McCaffrey, if he's healthy, he could end up being like number 1 overall player. Like who knows if he's held like he was a few years ago and he was unreal. I like Nico a lot this year because kind of in the similar vein to CD and Chase, I think they're gonna be pretty bad and I think they're gonna be down in games a lot. I don't think the defense is necessarily terrible, but I think the offense is gonna have to lean on Collins a lot. So I would personally be between one of those two. So whichever
just
way you think.
it's a little difficult. I'd probably go Neighbors if I was picking. I'm just really bought in on how many targets he gets in that
Okay,
offense.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, their top 2 receivers both had like a crazy amount of targets last year. They weren't
Yeah,
very successful because of the QB play, but it was just I don't know. They're really committed to getting their skill players the ball and letting them work. So I think if Neighbors is healthy, that's who I would be chasing at 7.
I like it. Obviously, slight improved QB play could be big for Neighbors. Also dealing with some injury problems, but I think he should be fine for next week. Going to the 1-8 here, kind of between obviously the same 2 players I just mentioned. I think I would lean McCaffrey here. I just feel like the running back is so like I feel like you need like the recent like modernization of the NFL where and especially in fantasy where like people go 0 RBs. Like I feel like it's so tough. I feel like you need to prioritize running back in at least one of your first 2 picks. I would personally lean McCaffrey here just based off that. Like I honestly don't mind Henry here as well. I think we're both a little lower on Genty than others. Just
Yeah,
because
I'm
I
a
think
little
it's
lower on Henry and Genty, honestly.
really. I just feel like with Henry, they run the ball so much. Lamar's a threat, but he's just everyone keeps saying he's gonna get worse with age, and he just doesn't. So it's like one of those things.
One of these years, I feel like he's just gonna be super slow and it's
Yeah,
gonna fall off a cliff. But so, like personally, I'd be fading him, but at a certain point, it gets tough not to pick him. I just don't think at 1-8, I'd probably pick Nico Collins here.
yeah. I'm okay
But
with that
I
too.
think McCaffrey makes a ton of sense as well. And like I could like depending on your league mates, like if this was a 10-man league like we playing, I would pick McCaffrey first and just be like, all right, pick whatever receivers you want, and I'll get
Yeah.
one of Amon-Ra or
Mm-hmm.
Nico or I mean Neighbors is gone here, but he's probably not going 1-7 in real league.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd probably go McCaffrey here if it was like a 10-man, but in this situation, I'd probably go Nico and just take the guy that I really want.
So all right, 1-9 here.
I think this one has to be McCaffrey.
Yeah. Oops.
I like Amon-Ra still. I just like I don't know. Without Ben Johnson, I'm kind of fading the Lions this year. I think if anybody's gonna go crazy, it's Gibbs just because he's so skilled.
Yeah, makes sense. Kind of already been talking about it a lot. Like if McCaffrey's healthy, he's probably the biggest high risk, high reward player in the draft. I would say that.
Yeah. Like if he's healthy and himself, like he's almost automatically the number one player in fantasy. So I feel like the years he's been healthy, he's been the number one player. It's like been 3 or 4 times where he's actually been healthy. So
All right, 110 here. Personally, I would go Henry here. I love Puka. I think the questions with Stafford makes him very hard to pick this high. Um, like you said, Amon-Ra, always a good option. I do think
yeah,
Jameson Williams is going to like take a slight jump in terms of production. So I think that could cut into him. Um, I would probably be between Amon-Ra and Henry here. I would lean Henry.
I'd probably go Puka or Amon-Ra. I kind of forgot about Puka the last few picks as well, but I don't think I'd take him over any of those guys. But yeah, I'd probably go with one of the receivers here. But I'm fine with Henry as well if that's what you really wanted to do.
All right, let's go Henry. Just like the idea of prioritizing the running back, especially when you got these back-to-back picks coming up.
Yeah.
So
Like
11, I think.
personally, I think there's a big tier drop off after Puka and Amon-Ra. So like I think those should be the next 2 picks.
Yeah. I mean, I think Brian Thomas is capable of putting up a very good year again,
Yeah.
but
I
I
think
think
Brian
after
Thomas is
him,
good. I just like I worry with Travis Hunter, like second pick, they gave up all that for him. Like he'll be featured a lot too. So there's just a
yeah,
lot of pressure on that passing offense to be good for them to both be really good in fantasy, I feel like. But Thomas is the one that's established and has the connection with Trevor already, so
yeah. Would you lean Puka over Amon-Ra?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I kind of forgot about Puka, but I think I would take him over Amon-Ra.
Okay. I'm cool with that. Obviously, but two guys that are gonna rack up receptions. Not gonna be like a necessarily like big play guys, but especially in a PPR league, these guys are both getting like 7 to 8 catches a game. So obviously good picks at the end of the first round there.
Yeah.
So kicking off the second round, we have Amon-Ra. Now we're looking at the board. We got Genty, Brian Thomas, Bowers is ranked 15th, which is crazy to me. I'm not an A-Chain guy. Honestly, at this point, I would just go best player, and I would take Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I'm not sure. I think Detroit has bye week 5. I'm not totally sure.
It says it right there. Or
That's the
that's
pick,
for
right?
the other teams. Yeah.
Let's see. They have 8. Okay. So in this situation, Brian Thomas also has bye week 8. So I don't know if we want to factor
Me
that in
personally,
as
I
well.
don't care about bye weeks, but I
Yeah.
always make the playoffs like by the skin of my teeth, so I probably should. But it hasn't
Yeah.
bit me yet.
Yeah, I think you still take Brian Thomas here. Bye week be damned. Okay. So we have Puka. I mean, at this point, I think
I'd probably swing on Genty if it was
Genty.
me.
Yeah.
But
I think
I like Bucky. I like Drake London, but I'd probably swing on Genty.
yeah, you swing on the upside of Genty here. Like the offense with Geno should be better. Like Bowers is gonna get fed, but I just fear that they're gonna stack the box against Geno and make him beat them. But we'll see. He could be a guy who like breaks off for 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. Who knows? He's also gonna get some volume in the passing game because he's a pretty decent receiver out of the backfield. So Genty there at the second pick in the second round. Now we got some Derrick Henry is our first pick here. What I would do, looking at this board, I would take Bucky Irving. I think I would double down on running back here.
Yeah, I'm between Bucky and London, and I think I'd lean Bucky. So
Okay, cool. I'm big on him. I mean, this is crazy that he's ranked this high too. But yeah, I think Bucky. I think Rachaad White is going to be somewhat involved, but definitely not as much as he was last year. So I think Bucky's due for another big year. I mean, it's crazy what he did with the like limited touches he had last year.
The next two picks too, like I think for me it would be London and Jonathan Taylor. Like I think Taylor's super slept on, and
Yeah,
London really broke out as like a consistent option last year. So
I don't mind
I
Josh
think those
Jacobs
two.
here either.
I think those two are in the tier above. I like Jacobs. I like Achan, but Achan has too many injury questions, and I don't know. Jacobs kind of had a huge year last year. I kind of fade guys that have back to back huge years as well.
Yeah, I'm cool with Taylor. I feel like there are some question marks, obviously, with Daniel Jones being the quarterback. Like maybe similar problems I had with Genty, maybe a stacked box potentially. They did lose two interior O linemen to the Vikings, so we'll see. But obviously, JT is one of the most talented running backs. Gonna get some volume out of the passing game as well. Doesn't have a lot of competition in that offense, so they're probably going to pound the rock. Okay. Nico Collins is our first pick here. We're at the 2-5. This one's tough. I think London is probably the pick based off
Yeah,
what you've been
that's
saying.
what I would do.
Okay. I'm cool with that. I think I don't know how good Penix is going to be. I think he's going to look to feed his playmakers, and that's going to be London. I think Pitts is probably in play. But yeah, him, Bijan, and Pitts. Who knows? But I think Penix gives him a higher ceiling than Kirk did.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we got the 2-6 here. We took Malik Neighbors in the first round. This is where it gets tough.
Jacobs and Achan here is what I would think.
Yeah, I think this is probably where Achan's fall stops. If I
Yeah,
had,
like I would probably swing on him over taking Jacobs, to be honest.
yeah, because he's just gonna get so many touches, especially with Tua, so many dump offs, especially in a
But,
PPR league, extremely valuable.
yeah,
Jacobs obviously isn't getting the receiving like quantity that A-Chain will get. So we'll go A-Chain here, paired up with Neighbors. That's a questionable team. Very high, very high risk there. But 18th pick in the draft, we got Jefferson in the first. I think Jacobs is probably the best player on the board.
yeah. The rest of that board is like guys I'm kind of fading. Like I'm not picking Lab McConkey in the second round or AJ Brown in
Yeah,
the second round. I'm kind of
yeah,
fading Bowers a little bit too. Like he had a crazy year and he was only at about like 15 points a game. Like Kittle and McBride were right there with him. So I don't think getting Geno is going to be as big of a difference as people think. Like I think a lot of the time in fantasy, like some of these guys that play with bad QBs, like they get spammed on losing teams, and then like their team improves at quarterback, and people expect them to improve as well. It's like I don't think that'll happen because the offense like might actually function, and they
yeah,
won't just spam him the whole time. So
yeah.
I'm
It's
kind of
it's just
fading
like,
Bowers as well.
especially if the rumors of like a potential Jacoby Myers trade happening, like it's hard to imagine Bowers not getting the volume that he got last year. Obviously, you add Genty to the mix, he's gonna take away a lot of touches, but I think if you're in a 10-man league, it's easier to justify like taking a Bowers or McBride as early as probably not this, but like towards the back end of the second round, simply because like you do want to have a positional advantage, and having a guy like Bowers or McBride or even Kittle in this case, like Kittle could have another great year with the injury question marks all over that team. But like I feel like that and like at quarterback are very valuable to have in a 10-man league. But in a 12-man, I'm okay letting them slide a little bit. But here we have Saquon in the first. You know, I'm looking at the board. I don't mind like a Chase Brown.
Yeah, I'm thinking like this is for me where I would start swinging a bit. Like I'm looking at like Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, T. Higgins. Like
Yeah,
I'm looking at them over some of these guys on the board right now.
I'm cool with Chase Brown. Like we said, like that Bengals offense is probably gonna put up a lot of numbers, so getting a guy in that offense is never a bad thing. And you're doubling down on running back, so I like that. All right, CD here. I know it's starting to get tough. Maybe like Kyron, like we just mentioned, T. Higgins, not a bad option. I'm not opposed to like starting the quarterbacks right here. Like Lamar and Josh Allen just put up so many points that it's justifiable in my mind. Personally, I would lean Lamar over Josh Allen.
Yeah, Lamar's been super consistent. I don't know if I would do it personally, but like for the sake of this, like I'm kind of fading the other guys, so I'm fine with it.
Okay, so let's go Lamar here. I just feel like it's a little early to take T because I feel like there are some guys. There might be some better options, but um, pick 22 here, the 210. Um, again, like at this point, like I'm okay taking a shot on Bowers. AJ Brown's obviously has had some injury question marks in the last few years, but uber talented receiver. Josh Allen's there, Kyron's there. I'm okay with any of those guys. T would probably be pushing it for me, but I'm okay with it. I would probably lean like AJ Brown here though, because I do think when he's healthy, like I get the like Jalen Hurts, like he only threw for what 2,000 yards last year or something, but Saquon is most likely not going to rush for 2,000 yards again. What I
Yeah, I'm
think.
fine with like AJ Brown or Josh Allen here. I think
Okay,
makes the most sense
okay,
as player available.
yeah, let's go Brown here.
Yeah, I'm kind of fading the Eagles a little bit, but Brown is just he's a really good player. And when they're kind of down in games, they start going to him and he puts up like a lot of points really quick. I remember that from the year he was on my team. So
Yeah,
yeah, I like it there.
Go to the
Going to
211
the
now.
211.
211, pick 23. Bijan was our first pick. I think this is like four players come to mind. I think Bowers, Allen, maybe a Kyron,
Yeah, I'm big on
or
Kyron. I know you're not, but I think he'll get the
I'm
workload.
okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think Coram's gonna get more run this year, but I still think Kyron's a better player. Um, I'm cool with taking Kyron here.
Yeah, I'm good with Kyron, Allen, either of the tight ends. I think would be acceptable in this kind of range.
All right, let's go Kyron. Just prioritize those running backs. Let me get this is bothering me. Now we got the wraparound here. I already took Chase with the first pick. I honestly don't mind a Bowers Allen back to back here.
I don't like taking QB and tight end early personally, but you also don't want to take T Higgins
And
with
Chase, yeah.
yeah.
I don't mind
So
Lad.
yeah, this one's tough. I think Allen and Bowers might be the best way to go. I'm kind of low on lead. Like I'm still not picking him yet, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's run that. Let's go Bowers and then Allen. I think that's a very good trio. Obviously, it's a tough spot with running back considering a majority of the good ones are off the board. If you want to reach for like maybe an O'Marion Hampton or a James Cook there, I guess you could do that because it is going to be a long time before your next pick. But I
Yeah.
think you're better off trying to go like R.J. Harvey, Travion Henderson, like Aaron Jones, one of those guys there. Just go for the guys you know are going to put up points. That's what I would say.
Yeah. This next team with two running backs, though, I think this is the spot where I would like plant the flag on T Higgins a little bit because I think I like him over the other receivers that are ahead of him on the board and McBride
Yeah,
as well.
I
So
don't
like
mind that.
that's what I would do there.
Yeah, I like that. Again, like health is the main issue with T. Like if he's healthy, that's the offense is gonna put up so many points that he is going to be heavily involved. And yeah, I like his upside over Lad. I think Lad down the stretch last year was really good. Um, we'll see. They added Keenan Allen, who's nearly a fossil now, but will have some production. And obviously drafted Hampton, who they're going to use, and signed Najee Harris, who I don't know if he's blind. We'll see. He might be. I know he had bad vision problems before, but after getting a firework blown up in his eyes, not ideal. But yeah, I mean, at this point, like I'm not huge on Tyreek. I think he's probably going to get traded. He's going to be like Devontae Adams of last year. I wouldn't have minded McBride. I think like the usage is there. I don't love Kyler, but I like the T Higgins pick there. All right, we're going 3-3 here. Pick 27. We have Gibbs and AJ Brown. I think at this point, like I would be like, all right, lad's fallen far enough. Because he is the number one there. He is going to get a lot of looks, like a lot of play action looks. They are going to run the ball a lot, but I do think Lad as your wide receiver two is not a bad option here.
I'd probably go McBride, but I'm fine with it given how far down we are.
Yeah. All right, let's go Lad here. We have CD and Lamar. Again, not an ideal spot to be needing a running back, but if we do want to reach, that's fine. I think this might be a similar situation to this team one, where we just go McBride and say these are the best three guys, the three guys we think are going to put up the most points. So I'm okay with that as well.
Yeah, I'd go McBride. I think this is the range where I'd start to consider Kamara too. I think he's kind of underrated, so maybe the Nico Collins and London team can reach on him a little bit in a couple picks.
Yeah, I don't mind that. All right, team five here, pick 29. Saquon and Chase Brown were the first two picks. You're probably looking
I think
what
you're
you're,
looking at like Terry, Marvin Harrison, Mike Evans, Tyreek.
yeah,
I'm fading
like,
JSN a little bit with Darnold. Like I think he makes sense here as well. But like
yeah,
probably got to be a receiver with the tight ends off the board and the top two QBs as well. I'm not picking Burrow here without a stack.
yeah.
Yeah, Jaden
I
Daniels
don't,
too. There's no one to really stack Jaden Daniels with either. Like I don't think a Terry and Daniels stack is all that beneficial.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm okay with Tyreek. Like you're taking a bet on the skill set. You're taking a bet on a bounce back from a good offensive head coach.
Yeah, I think this
Obviously,
is a good range for him. Like Devonte Adams was going top mid to top round two last year. Like I picked him at 2-5 in a 10-man, so
yeah.
I think this is pretty fair for Tyreek. Um,
All right,
in a better situation than Adams was last year to start.
yeah, for sure. Pick 30. We got Jefferson and Jacobs already.
Yeah,
Kind of go either way here.
I could go like best player available here. Um, for me that would probably be Mike Evans or Kamara. Looking at the
Yeah,
board. I could see Kittle here too. I think Kittle's a little slept on with injuries in San Francisco, Debo being traded.
I like Evans. I like that. I think
But
he's always like,
yeah, Evans always kind of slides, but he's just super
yeah,
consistent in fantasy. He's always like in that low end wide receiver one to like solid wide receiver two range. So
yeah, and
like
obviously
he's always
Godwin.
a startable player. Is I guess how I'd sum it up.
Yeah, and obviously Godwin's going to be out at least 4 weeks, I would imagine. He did get cleared to play. He is on the 53 three-man roster, so he is going to be on the team right away. He's going to be ramping up. I just don't. You shouldn't expect any sort of like the same type of production he was putting up before he got hurt last year right away. It's going to take him a little bit to ramp up. So I think Evans is going to be heavily involved, and he's a guaranteed 1,000-yard receiver. I like that pick there with Jefferson and Jacobs. So we got pick 31 here, 3-7. We got Neighbors and H-Han already. I don't mind going JSN because he is sliding a bit here for us. I don't. I mean, like Darnold, I don't think he's gonna put up the same type of year he was last year. Like he was like a top five QB for pretty much half the fantasy season last year. I do like the idea of JSN being in the slot with Darnold.
They also
We'll
did bring
see.
in Cooper Cup, so
That
who knows how
that's the
much
thing.
thoughts
Yeah,
gonna look
that's
at.
the thing.
I'd like Kamara here or Marvin Harrison. I think this is kind of like a swingy team anyway with Achan. So
I don't
like
mind Marvin Harrison like taking a
I think
swing
we're
on the
just drafting
upside.
this team assuming everything's gonna go right. If you're picking Achan that early, like you can't be hesitant about injuries or
Yeah.
whatever. I think you got to be pretty sure of yourself. So like I think Marvin makes sense. I think Kamara makes sense even with the trade rumors and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Marvin because I mean, it's like at the end of the day, it's all going to come around to Kyler. He wasn't great last year. I think he was coming off an ACL injury. So obviously, with Kyler's skill set, that's affecting a lot of his game. Probably held him back a little bit. I mean, Marvin Harrison bulked the fuck up over the summer. So let's see. I mean, he was the bona fide number one wide receiver of last class. That included Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Rome Odunze and all those guys. So the talent's there. Let's see if Kyler can get him the ball this year. Um, Teammate kind of hinted at earlier, but I think this is probably I'm okay going Kamara here. I wouldn't mind Hampton over Kamara, but
Yeah.
obviously, Najee is there, so there is some competition for touches.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
prefer Kamara, but I think like him, Kenneth Walker, and Hampton are a little undervalued. Like I don't know how Brees Hall is like consensus ranked above them, and
yeah,
kind of James Cook too. It seems like Ray Davis is gonna get like the goal line like kind of work there. So I'm fading both those guys, but I'm higher on that group of three that you can see on the screen right there. But I think I prefer Kamara out of that group. He's just been the most consistent, like especially in PPR leagues.
okay. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think he's probably gonna get a lot of like dump off opportunities with Rattler being named the starter. So
Yeah.
He's always a solid option as a PPR running back with
These
the amount
next
he's probably,
two looks like receiver or Kittle here.
yeah, or maybe QB, maybe Jaden.
I'm kind of fading Garrett Wilson, but like DJ Moore did have that big year with Fields, so and they kind of
Yeah,
don't have much else. So like, I could see with two running backs, one of these teams taking a swing on Garrett Wilson. I could also see them going with Terry or JSN and just being like, all right, they're gonna be around 1,000 yards. Like that'll be nice paired with our running backs.
yeah.
So kind of tough here, but
It's just who's gonna have. I think at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to like who are you betting on as a QB, and it's Sam Darnold or Justin Fields. Sam Darnold is showing more as a passer, even if it was just last year. I think I would lean JSN. I wouldn't be too scared of Cooper Cup. I think he'll probably end up getting hurt, and I just think JSN with the yak ability and the underneath stuff, I think it's going to work with Darnold. I think I would lean JSN.
yeah, I'm fine with it.
So debating two Ohio State wide receivers. Um, but Team 10 here probably looking at another wide receiver. Started with two running backs in Bucky and Derrick Henry. Or Kittle. Kittle's not a bad option here, but I'm okay going Garrett Wilson here if you want.
Yeah, Garrett
Um,
Wilson makes a lot of
all right.
sense here, I think, with the two hero RBs, um, with the first two picks.
Yeah.
This
I
one
mean,
could kind of go anywhere. I wouldn't mind Kittle here because this is kind of a swingy team anyway.
yeah.
So, like, taking the swing that Kittle's going to be the number one option in that offense this year, besides CMC, of course, if healthy. I think that could make a lot of sense for a team that has Genti and Puka. Like, you kind of have a foundation everywhere, and could just kind of take flyers wherever you want down the board.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I think Kittle was. I want to say he was tight end too last year. He was putting up big games down the stretch. Obviously,
Yeah,
he has
points per
like
game, he was top. He was number one, but I think he was three overall. But yeah, like he was legit.
yeah. I mean, there's gonna be games. The thing with Kittle is there's gonna be games where they're just gonna be running the fuck out of the ball, and he's just gonna be a straight decoy slash blocker. So like you're gonna have to put up with those games, but there are gonna be games where he's catching the ball out of play action, putting up like 30-point weeks. So that team is definitely an upside play with Genti and Kittle, and Puka's gonna be your kind of like solidified 15 to 20 point guy a week. We'll see about Genti and Kittle. Capping it off here, Team 12 took ASB, Amon St. Brown, and Brian Thomas with their first two picks. Weird
Yeah, I
spot.
think I'd want to go with Hampton or Travion Henderson
Yeah,
here, or Kenneth Walker, just kind of one of the flag plant running backs. I mean, it's not like they're probably all projected to go fourth, early fifth round, but I think they're all worthy right here for sure.
yeah. I like Hampton here. I just think he's gonna get a ton of touches. Like I think he's
Yeah.
easily better than Najee.
We
Um,
saw what James J.K. Dobbins was doing last year, even with
mhm.
Gus Edwards. Like he was putting up big fantasy weeks. Hampton's probably a lot more talented than J.K. Dobbins after all the injuries. And he was still able to have a really nice year. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick. I'm targeting him personally. So
All right. So that's our little 3 rounds, 12 team mock slash how we would go about it, how we think you should approach your fantasy drafts. Now we're just gonna give like 3 names each. Guys that are gonna be later on the board, like rounds 10 through 15, in that range, where we think they could put up big seasons. That might be undervalued. If you want to, do you want to kick it off, or you want me to kick it off?
yeah, mine probably wouldn't be 10 through 15. Probably more in like the 7 to 10 range.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, yeah, but like some guys I'm targeting personally, a lot of rookies. Matthew Golden, I think, is
Hmm.
a obvious one that people talk about. Like number one receiver in that offense. First Packers receiver to go in the first round in like 25 years. I just think there's a lot of upside there with Golden. I'm a big Jordan Love believer too, so it'd be nice to see him kind of unlock a number one receiver to have a connection with.
Yeah,
Did some good things with Jaden Reed, but he's more of like a gadget kind of
exactly.
guy, jet sweeps and things of that
Exactly.
nature.
For me personally, I'll start off. I really like Marvin Mims this year. Um, had some big games last year. Obviously, he's more of that deep threat, but I think like 1 year of experience in that Champagne offense, I think he's going to be a big time target for Bo Nix this year. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be the number two. Obviously, Cortland Sutton's going to be the one. He might even be the three, but I think he might start off slow, but I think down the road, he might be putting up some pretty big games for your playoff push.
I think an interesting other sleeper I have is Chris Godwin. You'd obviously be able to get him later because he's on IR or PUP to start the year, whatever it is. But he was one of the top receivers in points per game last year. Obviously, dealt with injuries that he's still currently dealing with. But it's just I think it's really good value. Like you could get him sixth, seventh, eighth round, like depending on your league, and there's a chance he comes back and he's putting up 15, 17, 20 points per game down the stretch with Baker. I'm a really big believer in the Bucks this year. I think it's really good value like for a team to take Godwin and stash and potentially get a wide receiver one type of dude down the stretch.
Yeah, I like that. Obviously, he was putting up big numbers before he got hurt last year. A little more competition with Ibuka,
Yeah.
but
Egbuka seems like
McMillan,
he's really good. Baker was raving about him.
yeah, I mean McMillan went down. He's going to be on IR. Obviously, you have Mike Evans there. You have Bucky, all compete for touches, but that offense is so high powered that probably won't matter at the end of the day. Another guy I'm looking at going to a running back. I'm looking at Zach Charbonnet. Put up real good numbers when Kenneth Walker went down last year, and Kenneth Walker has been like injury prone, some would say, to start this career. So I like the idea of Charbonnet. He's a big dude, pretty explosive runner though, pretty solid out of the pass game as well. So I think Darnold could be that type of quarterback we're looking to dump offs. I like Charbonnet, maybe rounds like 9 to 11, like around there. Um, I think he works because I think K9 will miss some time, and I think it will be a true running back by committee backfield. So
Yeah, my last one, I'm gonna kind of go with a group of players here, but it's like the three Browns, I'll say. David Njoku, Dylan Sampson, and Judkins. I think Njoku going in like the seventh round and later in these mock drafts I've been doing could go a little earlier in a real draft. But I think there's a lot of potential for him to be a top five tight end in fantasy this
yeah,
year. The last time they had Flacco, they were just consistently dumping the ball to Njoku, and he was fighting for yards the whole game. And then as far as the running backs, I've been very critical of Stefanski because he's like a run game first coach, and the run game's been so poor the past few years. But to be fair, Jerome Ford is absolutely terrible, and Chubb has been a shell of himself. So I think with Sampson starting out the year as the starter, and then Judkins hopefully getting into the mix if he's not suspended or just doesn't sign at all, I think you could expect some pretty consistent production from the Browns running backs, like maybe like a Tony Pollard last year, just like a solid RB2, putting up 12 to 14 points, something like that. But you're gonna get these guys in the eighth, ninth, whatever round. I mean, Judkins was going in like the fifth or sixth, but it seems like he's gonna go much later, because he's still not signed. So, and Samson, I don't sit that far through the mock drafts to where he
yeah,
was getting picked yet. So he's a even later stash. He can move up though if Judkins doesn't sign. I'm sure
yeah,
uh, his ADP will go up a couple rounds. But yeah, I
for
like
sure.
all those guys from the Browns.
Like those. My last sleeper, I'm gonna go with Rashad Bateman. It really looked like he was becoming Lamar's number one target towards the end of last year, especially in the playoffs. Um, I'm not a big Zay Flowers guy. I think
Me
he
neither. Yeah, I like this one. I've always been big on Bateman as well.
Yeah, and like he always had that deep threat ability, but he would have some drop issues. I mean, he wouldn't be on the field as much. But I feel like last year was really like he took a little step, hoping he takes like another step on top of that. But I think Bateman could become that wide receiver one that Baltimore's desperately needed. He's still young. I think he's 24, 25 years old still, which seems crazy because it feels like he's been in the league for a long time. But yeah, I like Bateman here. I think Lamar is going to have an awesome year again. Obviously, going to be in MVP talks. Keep developing the arm. Keep looking for the deep ball to Bateman. So I like Bateman as a sleeper down the board, and I think the ranking, especially on sleeper at 148, it's a little crazy to me. Like
Below Jack
behind,
Deck is crazy.
yeah, Christian Kirk, Luther Burden, who's going to be a third option, Rashid Shaheed, like that seems crazy. Trey Harris, like there's a lot of names here that should not be above Rashad Bateman. But yeah, those are our sleepers, and that's going to be our little fantasy. What should we call this? Fantasy analysis for the year. A little deep dive into the fantasy football draft. But yeah, hope you guys took something from this. Hope we guys can help you out. Hope we can help you guys out with your drafts. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time. See ya.